Listen, if you're looking to make money with AI in 2026, I highly recommend you watch this video from beginning to end. There was a couple pivots in my business that allowed me to collect over 6 figures within a span of 4 months and closer to $250,000 in the entire year of 2025. Please understand that these frameworks I'm going to walk you through and these pivots I made were very essential, and it's not hard at all. It doesn't take luck, it doesn't take skill, doesn't take programming or anything like that. Now, just to get it out the way, guys, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my Stripe dashboard. Please keep in mind, we do accept other payment methods like Wise, Square, and even here locally in Canada, we also take e-transfers. But for CRA purposes, we officially incorporated in August. So we'll just stick with 6 figures for now. And you can see I made the Stripe account officially in August, and it's basically year to date all time. And you can see within 4 months, we're able to collect a gross of $114,000 cash. Here's the important part. This isn't about being smarter. It's not about being luckier. It's about changing what I sold, who I sold to, and how exactly I structured my business. Now, the first biggest shift I made was I stopped selling results or single solutions. I started selling the entire infrastructure. So what you basically want to understand is that you want to bridge the entire gap. You don't want to be an AI solutions guy. You don't want to be a lead gen guy. You don't want to be an SEO guy. You want to go within an industry and take the client's initial state and bring them to their desired state. So oftentimes it's increased sales, maybe increase appointments, maybe build rankings, organic engagement, whatever it is. You want to bridge that entire gap. Oftentimes it takes a series of solutions and deliverables to make that happen. So when I approach a business, and I'll go over my actual example with the agency I'm running today, and this goes from your client's offer, the audience engagement funnel. So whether, they're running ads, they're farming organically, sales process, right? So is it a self-liquidating offer through a funnel? Are they purchasing something, or is it more of a 2-step close where they have to hop on a sales call and then later get onboarded? And then as well, talent. Sometimes you'll have to employ talent on their team to run specific tasks for them so that you remove the bottleneck from the business, which ends up being the business owner anyways. So this could be like salesmen, appointment setters, and actual talent that could fulfill. And we're going to go over exactly why that matters. When you're a single solutions-based company, right? Let's say if you only offer lead gen, SEO, or some type of AI solution by itself, you're already competing with freelancers, agencies overseas, software, and anyone who could do those services. And I mean, anybody can run ads, anybody can learn SEO. It doesn't take long and it's not hard. So what you have to understand is that what is making you different from, let's say, Mushtaq, Farhan, Raki, right? I'm sure these people can run ads, and I'm pretty sure they could probably run them really well, but they could afford the lowest price because this is how they get customers. And at that point, you're competing on price. What's making you stand out? What you also have to understand is that just because you sell leads or you run ads, that's not going to really solve anything. That solves an issue of traffic and getting attention. Leads doesn't equal more revenue. If somebody's getting a lot of leads and they're having a bad follow-up system, a broken sales process, or just missing calls overall, the client won't see results, and then they will blame you. And that's the funniest part. You could bring them a whole list of names, phone numbers, and emails, but at the end of the day, if they don't have the entire system set up, they're not going to equate to more sales. Now, the second biggest shift I made this year specifically was I was tired of doing everything myself. So I completely stopped. So this meant actually building out teams, SOPs, and actual systems. So this was clear workflows, defined handoffs, and things I can plug and play with my team, and they can do it. Execution comes from a process, not effort. So this allowed me to scale without being the bottleneck, without burning out, and without my business breaking every time I stepped away. I don't get paid by being the best website builder or the best content creator or the best automations implementer or some type of developer. We make money off infrastructures, and with this we could always hire out. And I'm going to go over exactly why you want to start hiring out. So oftentimes, and I even did, is I started as a solopreneur. So every single day I was in charge of lead gen myself, sales, fulfillment, and support. So this required talent from myself, so I actually had to put on my gloves and learn. Effort, so consistency every day, and memory. So no processes, no SOPs. I thought that they would need this and then I'd have to remember it on top of that. So this was very inconsistent, constantly multitasking, right? So in the days I'm sending DMs, at the night times I'm doing Canva creatives, everything would bottleneck to me, and every client setup was different because it relied on me remembering to do stuff. And this was always a lingering thought in my head, is that I'm always one bad day away from dying. And I mean in business. And this is very true. I started with DMs in the beginning. And if there was a day that I missed DMs, that meant the next day there's no sales calls. And if there's no sales calls the next day, that means I'm not getting paid. So the outcome of being a solopreneur is that you don't own a business, you own a stressful job. Yeah, you get time freedom and location freedom, but at the end of the day, if you don't move, nothing moves. Versus how things are completely different now. We now have a productized service, and I've implemented a team and systems. So every single day, we're getting lead gen. Every single day, my appointment setter is setting appointments for my sales team and also for our clients. So that those are both handled. We have a client success manager. So with every client that we onboard, they're paired up with a CSM, and that's their main line of contact, and that's their supports, rather than blowing up my phone, if I'm being honest. Website and automations team. I don't even know how to build a website anymore. I don't care to. We have that implemented. Whole creatives department. So this is both photos and videos, and of course support and optimization falls back to the CSM. And I'm going to show you guys an example of all of this. Now, how this actually runs. So there's the same setup for every client. SOPs guide every task, team executes, and owner oversees. So I get the final look on the project, and I give it the green light. And the best thing is that fulfillment runs without chaos. Everybody is assigned for a specific role. It almost works like a factory. So as soon as we start with the client, from the beginning to the end, it's the same process for everyone. Now, the outcome with this is that we get predictable delivery, scalable like a product. Owner focuses on growth, not fires. Business runs even when I step away. That's been true. I've been on multiple trips this year. You can see on my channel. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have a team. Now, the reason why you want to productize the entire service is that when service is duplicated the same way every time, it stops being a custom chaos and becomes a productized service. So here's a roadmap of all our deliverables for each client. It's pretty in depth, but they all have a purpose and a step towards our client's growth. And every client gets the same thing. The thing that changes is, of course, the branding, their messaging, their offer, and how we attune to their team. So do they have a lot of salesmen? Are they a solo crew? We align them on where they're at, and then of course depending on the package. But overall, everyone is getting the same thing, but what is custom is specifically how their organization is being ran. If a massive franchise, for example, needs ads, their ad spend is going to be a lot more bigger compared to a one-man crew. Also, they're going to need a lot more process and automations behind it. So we're talking about newsletters, reminders, and all those things. Anyways, enough of that tangent. Now with SOPs, this is what keeps everything aligned in check. So everybody understands what the deliverables are, what they're responsible for, and what is good and what is not. So this is good because it's not a custom chaos. We get a new client. Each individual employee knows what needs to be done, what looks good and what doesn't. We also have quality control. For example, with our funnel developer, she has to individually check off everything and make sure that everything is done correctly. So let's say on a funnel, the forms are created, calendars are connected, GHL foundation. So this is like sub accounts, automations, and all that. So rather than starting something and handing it to me, she has to actually make sure that the entire checklist is done. And by the time it reaches to me or the CSM, it's double looked at. So everything has a process behind it. And something really cool we've been using is an AI internal knowledge base. So it's just a custom GPT for each role. So rather than them texting me for every question or every fire, I've included information and examples within these knowledge bases so that when before my employee texts me, they could message chat and chat will spit them out a pretty good answer. But if it can't be solved, then of course they'll reach out to me or the CSM. Now the whole idea with this is that every time we sign a new client, it's automated almost like a product, and everybody knows what the entire project looks like from beginning to end. And the best part is that this system doesn't need me anymore. Now you understand the two pivots that I've made. Now you're probably wondering, how can you start? And what does it look like from a bird's eye view above? And I'm going to walk you guys through that just now. The first step is you're going to want to pick one niche with buying power. Not everyone, just one. When you sell to everyone, you resonate with nobody. And niches are how you become a specialist. When you solve a specific pain for a specific person, you're able to charge a lot more. An example of this is, let's say you have crazy back pain. If you go see a general doctor, you know you're wasting time. He's gonna offer you Advil. He's gonna tell you to stretch, get some sunlight. But if you see, let's say, a specialist who could offer surgery and fix your pain immediately, oftentimes you're gonna go with the specialist. The specialist gets paid a lot. They serve that one purpose and they help a specific group of people. Your agency should be the same thing. You don't want to be running ads for everybody and anyone, right? It's just general services, and you can't really charge the most. And in this case, we're trying to grow aggressively and of course make money while we go through this pain every day, right? Now, more proof on this concept, right? I asked chat, who gets paid more, a general doctor or a specialist? And you can see here, according to chat, general doctors will make anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000 a year Canadian, while a specialist can make anywhere from $350,000 to $600K plus, right? And that makes sense. This is often surgeons, dermatologists, cardiologists. You get the point. You want to choose one niche, go all in, and understand that market. After you pick your niche, you're gonna want to gather insights that are pulled directly from the market. If you don't have these, you're guessing. And what does this mean, right? You have to understand, what is your niche complaining about? What are they actually spending money on? What have they tried that didn't work? If the market is already spending money, that's buying power. So an example of this within my niche with local contractors, everybody is spending money with Angie's Leads, Homestars, and Thumbtack. And the issue with that business is that these are non-exclusive leads. They're running ads for a general population, and they're just feeding you and playing the pay per lead model. So the advantage for the contractors, they may pay $50 for the lead, but that one lead is sold to 10 other contractors in the area, and it leads them into a bidding war. So people already believe in marketing. It's just the method or what they're buying isn't working for them. So therefore, they are falling into that pain, and they're looking for that one solution, which would be us, to solve those gaps for them. Now, you might be wondering, okay, how do I gather insights, or how do I choose a niche? So I always recommend people to step into an industry that they have experience in or they have general knowledge about. Or what I did is you could go straight to YouTube and consume content about that niche. An example I pulled here is with the dental niche. There's a lot of videos explaining how specific dentists completely destroyed their market, how they were able to attain 8 figures. I didn't watch this video, but I'm assuming he's talking about his processes, how he's getting patients, biz ops, his hiring, his marketing. He's probably giving everybody the sauce from a higher level because he's already achieved that. There's lots of videos like this on YouTube with other dentists explaining what they did, how they became successful, and there's a lot of podcasts explaining what they did as well. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when you consume this content, pains and solutions are announced, okay? So this is where you're able to figure out how to bring this to life, meaning copy their experience, copy what they did, and turn this into a service that you could sell to that entire market. Because guys, you have to understand that a dentist is going to watch these videos. He's going to listen to that podcast. But at the end of the day, it's not in his best interest to come home and learn how to run ads, hire appointment setters, the best qualification funnel within a 30 or 30 kilometer radius. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't have the time to sit down and learn about. He already went to school his whole life. He wants to make money now. But you have the time to figure it out, build it out, and implement it into businesses today. And that's where your opportunity lies, okay? They would rather pay for the solution rather than figuring it out. These people, their time is of value, right? So they don't have the time to spend 6 months learning how to run ads, but you do. They don't have time to learn how to make the best content or the best videos or edit videos, but you do. Now, when sourcing these insights, you want to look at it from a strategic or tactical lens. For example, within a specific niche, why are the leads not converting? Why did the ad stop working? Why aren't referrals scalable? Why is the owner the bottleneck? Quick example of this, right? Like a dental client might be saying, hey, yeah, I'm running ads on Pinterest, but they're not working. Okay, well, why? Well, Pinterest is not really geo-targeting. It's more general. Okay, that's where he's going wrong. And that's where you would just sub in your own methods and your own channels. Tactical, so you want to look at a lens of what tools they are already using, what platforms are they on, so are they posting or what are they running ads on, what workflows already exist and where things break. If they're running, let's say, phone call ads on Meta, there's no tracking, there's just people dialing their phone number. It just depends on if that location picks up the phone or not. This is very inefficient, and this is where money goes to the garbage and things break, right? Nothing is trackable, nothing is working with them. It's more of their emotion and how they feel that day or how the front desk worker is performing, the admin. Now, once you understand all these concepts, you then want to come to that niche with a specific growth thesis. A niche specific growth thesis is an explanation of how growth actually happens in the market, not how it works in theory, not how it worked for someone else, but how it works here. And I'm going to run you guys through an example. So let's say local service contractors, oftentimes their services are very high ticket and inbound lead driven businesses. Word of mouth is great, but for them to scale, they have to access other channels. What most people think in this game drives growth is more leads, more ads, more platforms. So just spamming and having unlimited budget. But this is unrealistic, and I'll explain why this approach always fails. And this is what every lead gen guy is selling. So why this fails? Leads go unanswered, slow response time, missed calls, no follow-up, and the owner is overloaded, right? Contractors, they tend to be a one-man army, or he may have a couple hires or full crews, but he's still the top decision maker. If he doesn't move, things don't move. He becomes overworked and overloaded. The actual growth bottleneck that I figured out was that, hey, we don't need more leads. We need speed to leads. So when somebody opts in, how fast are these leads contacted, right? We all understand 5 minutes after somebody signs up for an ad, that's when they're most capable of buying, or they're going to buy. So if you're calling a lead 10 hours later, that lead is garbage. Lead qualifications. So it's not about having 10,000 leads, right? We just want 20 really good leads. They may not close now, but they will close next month. Consistently following up. So when you get a database of 5,000 names and phone numbers, every day you could close a job or two just by constantly following up and including those automations. And then again, the bottleneck is the owner's doing everything. So by removing the owner from being responsible for these roles is what's going to allow the business to actually scale. Now, the system outcome. So like I mentioned, right, faster responses, more appointments booked, higher close rate, and then revenue increases without spending more on ads, which is what everybody loves to hear, right? So this is an example of a growth thesis. So productized offer. So this is exactly what we're running right now. We install a system that ensures every lead is contacted, qualified, and followed up with automatically. Meaning everything A to Z is done. Business owner has to do less. It's a win-win. We charge more, and that's it. Now for step 2, you're going to want to sell the system setup, not the outcomes, okay? When you're on a sales call or when you're pitching, you want to cover all of these functions. For your client, you're going to want to draft them the right offer. Let's say for gyms, first 3 workouts are free. Dentist, free teeth whitening. I have a whole video covering on how to create a perfect offer. If you haven't seen the video, there's a link down below, or just scroll down my channel. I have a video specifically on how to build amazing offers. You're going to want to follow our specific framework on creating offers for yourself and for your clients. But understand right now I'm covering for your clients. Proper traffic mechanisms. So how are you going to get them more traffic? Are you going to run paid ads, which is what I always recommend? Or are you going to tell them to play the organic short form route? So we all know there's people that are building a brand in the real estate niche, in the gym niche, right? Is it better for these people? Is it cheaper for these people to go all out on content on Meta, TikTok, LinkedIn? That's for you to find out. Just because you run ads doesn't mean you're better, or vice versa. Or are you going to tell your clients to run organic long form YouTube? Which is what this is. Because you want to learn something. And then funnel mechanism. So once your clients are acquiring traffic, what are you going to do? Are you going to take their traffic and bring them to a SLO, so a self-liquidating offer? Are you going to make your clients buy directly on the funnel? Is this e-com? Is it packages they're buying online for a med spa? Or are you going to get their traffic sent to a community? So is this a school, a Discord to be sold to later? Educational assets acquire attention, and to sell to them later works really well. A VSL, or let's say a YouTube creator funnel. Conversion mechanism. So for your clients, is it better for them to have closers, setters? Is it better for your clients to run webinars, challenges? Let's say an example of a challenge. Let's say a gym runs a lose 30 pounds in 6-week challenge, or your money back, or free. The mechanisms you have to figure out for your clients, and then you start selling these. And then for step 3, you want to prove that the system works. So once leads or appointments are coming in, you now have leverage, and that's when you start raising your prices, add retainers, and then from there going down so it becomes more sticky, meaning that they are reoccurring. You then want to add performance-based incentives, and then also leverage AI and trends. So something really cool that made us stand out, my epoxy flooring agency, we've been able to develop this entire floor visualizer that we give for free as a value asset so that we could sell to them later. So The reason why this is great because my competitors are selling this exact software and feature for $99 a month. I'm not in the game of SaaS. I'm not in the game to get paid $100 a month. I want to make big money fast. So as a value asset, I could use AI, lovable.com, and build this software and get clients for it for essentially free. There's the running cost of the software itself, but rather than making $100, I could make, let's say, $8,000 from that client just by giving them this for free, right? So it's a value asset. They're going to sign up, give their info. They're going to love the app. And then when they need help with marketing or they want to grow, who are they going to go to? Us. So it's just a floor visualizer. It allows my clients to use this as a sales tool. So what they could do is just take a picture of a floor and generate a live mock-up. So what this becomes, it becomes a sales tool for them. It gives them authority, experience, and allows them to charge more because they're standing out compared to their competitors. That's an example of using AI tools to make you stand out from your competitors and make more ultimately. This was all built on Lovable. Then from there, you're finally gonna wanna go to market. Now, I'm going to show you what we're doing from a bird's eye view. Obviously, I'm not going to give you all the in-depths and specifics, but this is what it's going to look like once you start going after the market. So for pillar one, we all know how important having a brand and authority is. So the website is more of a general thing to build trust, explain what we do, case studies, testimonials, all the nice stuff. What really scales us is our funnel, and the funnel is very direct. And it has one base function of getting us appointments on our calendar. So it's very aggressive, right? So right away, we're stating our offer. We're giving testimonials, case studies. We're showing off our processes. And our ultimate goal is to get our leads to book an appointment on our calendar to then hop on a sales call with our sales team. And that the funnel is always going to be the moneymaker. And then again, of course, right, you're going to want to have all your pages, basic. And content is what really builds trust. I haven't really dialed in content. I definitely can. I do admit that. But we're still killing it regardless. And my competitors, they're nowhere near as close. No testimonials, nothing like that. But content is something I do want to expand on in 2026. Now for pillar two, the most important part, this is what's going to make or break your business. And that is traffic and entry point. What I call this is basically motion. So how are you gaining attention and how are you getting sales calls? How are you selling to people? And if you know me or watch my old videos, I used to be a big advocate of DMs. I had a whole DM process. I hired a bunch of DM appointment setters and we were essentially able to book out calls pretty consistently. It was actually pretty impressive with all the restrictions Instagram has. But ever since I made it pivot towards ads, I'm telling you guys, invest in ads. This is going to really completely change your business. And here's an example, okay? So with this one campaign, we spent $2,200. So this was about $80 a day. But this led to getting 157 signups. So this means it's 157 different people raising their hand, inquiring that can possibly buy, right? There's qualified, unqualified, different stages. Some people buy right now, some people buy in 6 months. At the end of the day, we're gaining attention pretty cheaply, and they are ending up in our database to be sold to, meaning appointment setters, re-engagements, all that great stuff. Another example of another campaign, we had almost over 700 leads at that point. When you're putting yourself in a situation where you're getting 700 opportunities to sell, you're going to make money. Compared to as DMs, it literally relied on how many DMs you could send a day, the platform's restrictions, and the bookings. And you can see here, right, we were averaging 1 to 2 to 3 sales calls a day, some days none at all. Whereas I'll show you guys here, with the result of running ads, we were getting pretty booked up every single day. And this is recent November, and even in a slow month like December. Average 3 sales calls a day, sometimes up to 6. If you're running ads, you are gonna get motion. If you have everything pivoted and structured correctly, you will get a lot of inbound leads. But again, this all depends on your offer. This all depends on your ad creative and what pain points that you could solve for your market. So with ads, it's an everlasting game of testing and seeing what sticks and what doesn't. Sometimes doing more will not result in getting you more leads, right? Like you could see our static ads here, right, they were getting a lot of engagement, a lot of comments. Even simple ads perform well. Whereas our crazy AI Google VO3 ads, sometimes they just wouldn't perform as well because it didn't resonate with people. And that's just what marketing is, right? You're constantly evolving and seeing what sticks and what doesn't. For pillar 2, you must have traffic down, because if you have no traffic, you have no motion. Okay, guys, remember that. No traffic, no motion. Pillar 3, funnel and qualification. So lead capture funnels, lead forms, landing pages, CRM, automations, all that good stuff. So we have to make sure that everybody we speak to is qualified or at least in a position to buy. Just an examples of lead forms that we're running for Resin Reach, right? So we're asking people, do you want jobs? Yes. Do you own a business? What's your revenue? Are you committed to hopping on a call? What's your biggest pain point? When are you looking to grow in the next 30 days? And then from there, they would book right away. There's always a balancing you have to do. So with your lead form, if there's too many questions, a lot less people are going to sign up. But if there's little to no questions, too many people are going to sign up, and your calendars will be overbooked with wasting time, no shows. So it's always a balancing act, but I'm always an advocate of including more questions. Pillar 4, automations, CRM, all that good stuff. I'm a very big advocate for systems. We know speed to lead is very important. I'm also following those same concepts within my business itself. When somebody books a sales call, they get thrown into specific automations to get reminders. It gets assigned to an appointment setter, a salesman, and they get that one-to-one interaction through our messaging, emails, and then reminders. So sometimes you'll get people who opt in for no reason, who want to be thrown out. And then there are people that are just highly engaged, ready to go, which is always a good sign, right? You want these automations in place because you have too many things to do, right? You have to worry about ads, traffic, motion, the company growth. You don't have time to individually text every lead and to remind them to hop on a call. Now, pillar 5, human leverage. One of the best things I invested in. Appointment setters, right? So we want to use both AI automations. We also want the personal touch to get things really going, right? So you could see in terms of bookings, right? We would get no shows and the appointment setter would rebook them, or the automation would. So this led to getting a lot of onboardings, a lot of discovery calls, kept us pretty consistent and busy. And you always want an appointment setter because they could go in and see what's going on and give you direct feedback of why people aren't hopping on calls, why they signed up, why they didn't. And at the end of the day, that one-to-one personal touch point always helps in sales. Discord, every day we could track and see how many appointments the appointment setter is setting, who they spoke with, any type of notes that stood out from the calls. And then as well, we're able to track all of that activity too, right? So you want to see on a day-to-day basis, why are we booking appointments? Why are we not? So sometimes it's a performance thing, but you want to leverage having employees and having a whole team behind you because things really do work and move faster. And then pillar 6, sales, right? So within the agency, you're gonna have to have sales calls, strategy calls, and essentially you just want to go through the entire system A to Z of the entire growth infrastructure. You want to prove why your growth thesis works and how you can implement it for them today. My own sales team, right? So we're seeing how many people show up a day, how many people don't show up, sales status, close, lost, won. Go over all that in depth on the tracking so we could track what's working, what isn't. And then for pillar 7, very important, is delivery and fulfillment. We have a productized service. So every client we get, we right away start with the onboarding form, gathering general information we need from them so we could start and get to work. We share with them a Google Drive where their assets would live in terms of, let's say, creatives. So for our clients, we give them a bunch of free resources, like a epoxy flooring contract, a script for their own appointment setter when they hire down the line, how to take better photos and videos. We include the growth map, and then sort of a place to live for their creative assets. So this is their posters, flyers, Facebook banners, videos, door hangers, and then it also allows them to upload any and all content to a folder. So it makes it effortless for my team to gather the content. So logos, before and afters, and things like that. For the fulfillment, like I said, it's the same for every single client. For pillar 8 is the fulfillment stack. So what I'm doing right now, we have both an internal and fulfillment team. So internal is for Resin Reach, and then fulfillment is for our clients. And every day we're able to connect, We're able to assign roles, what we need done every single day. It's very clean. It has a template. And this is what allows us to get work done pretty fast and pretty well because everyone's on the same wavelength. Everybody knows what they're doing, what they're expected of. They know where to find things and when things are due, which allows us to deliver projects fast and move to the next client. Now, I hope you guys found this video of value. We did go through a lot of concepts, but please understand, to make it in the online space today, this is what it takes. And the best part is that once you've done the testing, after you have the systems implemented, it literally becomes effortless, and then it's all about scaling. So how can you make systems run more efficiently, cheaper cost per lead? And then once you get past the $1 million mark, then it becomes a game of how to upcharge, how to keep people on retainers, and then playing the long franchise route where then you could eventually be bought out if you choose to do so. Now, if you guys want access to this lucid chart, I have no problem sharing this with you. You can look it over in depth. You can look at my examples. You can look at my screenshots. You could source through everything we have here. You can go ahead, DM me on Instagram at @Douglas Lopez. On Instagram, I'll go ahead and share these assets with you. Now, something we're also opening back up is we are now offering a full done for you implementation. So if you want to go to market with these systems set up for you, my team will actually go ahead and pre-build it and allows you to go straight to market. So rather than you testing on your own and learning how to build out websites, funnels, your messaging, your branding, your offer, I will sit with you one-to-one to help you figure that out. And my team will build out all the internal setups you'll need. We'll also employ the correct talent you'll need to start from day one. And from there, this will allow you to scale a lot quicker. Now, if you want to start from absolutely nothing, then by all means, that's what I did until I bought into a couple programs which elevated me. But if you want the system fully built out for you and you understand this framework and you feel like this could take you to the next level, go ahead, shoot me a DM on Instagram, and we'll talk soon.